So, I know that I'm late to this specific topic here, or at least this one video here of a Marvin Sapp hustling and or trapping his congregation inside of his church and extorting them for $40,000. Yeah, so I'm gonna get into that because that went viral recently. This video actually sparked the idea for my video here because I've just noticed a certain pattern with pastors of the church. I guess you can also include like those mega churches.
Do you ever use your private jets to go visit your vacation homes, for example?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Again, getting back to the comment, you said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
It's like one gigantic grift, really, for money. And there's also the ones that aren't on social media. They're like sexual deviants or some shit. They put on a front like they're like a pastor of a church or some shit, which I guess that's supposed to make them look like a good person. There's just something else going on behind the scenes, a certain pattern that I know that I'm not the only one that has been noticing this, right? But whatever.
And they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors.
Go ahead and close them doors. Yeah, close the doors. Lock them. Lock the door. Close them doors now.
We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. I actually think $20 is a lot of money. $20, believe it or not, when my late wife, Melinda P. Sapp, was alive, was a good date.
I want each and every single one of you to cough up $20. $20 isn't even that much, you know what I mean? Back in my day, right? $20 was a nice dinner date. $20 isn't even that much, okay? So I want everybody to cough up $20 right now. Lock them doors. Close them doors. Lock them up. $20 isn't that much, okay? I suggest you give me $20.
Take her to the movies, buy a box of popcorn, get 1 soda, 2 straws.
That is not $20 anymore, bro. It probably costs $21 to buy a fucking movie ticket now.
I wasn't cheap. That's swag. I was looking in her eyes. She's looking in mine.
Yeah, so funny.
Can't do that no more. Now, everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100. Because again, it costs to sit up here. I got you. Let's see. So put your 20 away, preachers. That 20 wasn't for you.
Alright, bro, what used car did he see on Facebook Marketplace, bro? That like he's using his congregation to collect all the money for like that used car.
Giving electronically or even giving tangibly.
Okay, so we got options here. We can use PayPal or Cash App, or we can give out physical cash. Oh, dude, he's giving us options here. Oh, man.
And give it, because I need to see 1,000 people moving. Bring them baskets.
And then like you just see people in the background actually going in and digging into their wallets and giving this man money. I can't believe that I just sat down and fucking watched that, bro. So this man was just counting that fucking cash. And the reason that I even want to make this video was because of that. I also found this other story, another pastor going after a woman, going onto like her OnlyFans, who used to be a member of his church when she was 9. She's 20 now, and then her pastor, you know, from like the past just ended up coming back, and he found her OnlyFans and everything. And so, yeah, bro, let's just get straight to it. I will have to say, there really is no proof, and this is just a story on TikTok, but it is somewhat believable.
My pastor tried to sleep with me. I do have to give you a backstory so you can understand the severity of this situation. Suddenly, one day, we just up and left the church. This pastor met me when I was like 7, 8 years old. So he's known me since I was a little girl. He baptized me. Him and my father were at one point sort of kind of like best friends. At the time this happened, I was like 20 years old and I'm 25 now. This was around the time where OF was getting really popular. It wasn't exactly popular yet for what it's known for, but it was around that time where it was getting there.
Yeah, guys, you have to remember that OnlyFans was originally created as like a Patreon copycat. The only difference is that they allowed pornography, and so but once you allow porn onto your website, it just ruins your website. That's what your website is known for. You know what I mean?
Of course, OF doesn't promote itself as that type of app. So when I made it, this was around the time I was heavily chasing my music career. If you know me, you know I used to rap and sing and all of that stuff, and I was heavily trying to pursue being a rapper and a singer. When I saw OF, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a perfect outlet to put all of my behind the scenes content on here, exclusive music videos, photo shoots, never before seen photos or unedited photos from my photo shoots. I posted the OF link on there, and I specifically put in the caption what was on there. So just thinking about that, even if I was doing that type of OF content, why on God's green earth would I post it on Facebook for my entire family to see? I get this Facebook message from my pastor. He's like, oh, like, wow, like you have an OF. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm posting all of my music videos. So he liked all of them. And then he inboxed me and he said, oh, I have a question. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And he was like, is this the only content that you post on there? And I was like, well, that's all the content I have on there for now. I'm getting ready to post some other behind the scenes from this other photo shoot that I just did. So I don't know when I'm going to upload it, but I'm going to upload that on there soon. Then I'm also shooting another music video soon, and that's going to be up there as well. So I tell him that, and he was like, oh, okay, that's it, LOL. And I was like, yeah. Mind you, I did not know that OF was turning into a P app. Was completely oblivious to it, and not only that, it was still on the rise. I'm reading his message like, yeah, that's it. Like, what do you mean? But he comes out and say like, oh, you ever thought about doing any other type of content for it? And I was like, any other type of content like what? At this point, I'm starting to say, surely he's not talking about that. Surely he's not talking about that. There's no way he's talking about that. So I'm just in denial right now because, like I said, he is in the family. This man watched me grow up, and my siblings and him and my daddy at one point was like this. And also, like I said, we did up and stop going to this church out of nowhere, and we joined a different church. My parents, they never told us why.
As you saw there, she went to a certain church when she was around 9 years old, right? They ended up leaving the church. She grows up, and the pastor hits her up talking about buying some nudes from her. After seeing the girl grow up, it's just disgusting behavior. This is what I'm talking about. The sexual deviancy is just disgusting, and dude, how could you do that? I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. You see someone grow up and then you just want to, oh my goodness, bro. Again, this could all be fake at the end of the day here, bro, but like, you get the whole point, bro. I mean, this chick takes forever though to tell a fucking story. So you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and just move on to the next piece. So this is from a channel called Oma, and well, what this guy does is that he goes around catching predators and all that type of stuff. So he's another predator catcher, and he has over 1 million subscribers. And well, I guess this is like his origin story of how he caught his own grandpa, who was a pastor of his local church. No, I'm not making this up.
I grew up pretty religiously as well for the first 10 years or so of my life, going to church pretty much almost every Sunday. You know, God teaches you to love your family. So when eventually my grandparents reached out to my mom, wanting to be in our lives, she was somewhat accepting. Initially, my mom didn't really want anything to do with them, but after a few years and, you know, being a struggling single mother, she eventually allowed them to send us things through our church. I was about 6. This went on for probably a few years, and my mom had finally decided that they had won her over enough to allow them to meet us. Us being me and my little sister, who is 1 year younger than me. We got to know them, learned a lot about them, and we learned that my grandfather was actually a pastor, an active youth pastor at a children's ministry in North Carolina. Of course, my mom liked that and, you know, green flags, so they began to come around more and more. I think I was in 8th grade at the time, and we had concocted this amazing idea to spend our spring break over in North Carolina with our grandparents. My grandpa, as old people do, took tons of pictures on this trip and posted them on Facebook. However, there was one particularly bad photo of me that he had posted where I just really didn't like the way I looked. It was an unflattering picture of me, to say the least. I simply asked him to delete it because I was embarrassed by it. I think a reasonable request for an insecure little boy, but not to him apparently. He basically got super pissy about it, going like, fine, I guess I'll never get pictures of you again. Guess I don't need pictures of my own grandchildren. Kind of being a baby about it. But eventually, he got over it, and we went about our vacation up until the last night there. We had our flight back home the next morning pretty early, and we had yet to print our tickets. So my grandfather gave me his phone to do so. I did so without issue, and we got our tickets printed to go home. However, you know on phones how you can like swipe up or hit a button and see all of your open apps that are running in the background, and you can swipe up or down to close them. Well, I've always had a habit of doing that. And so without even thinking, I did so on my grandfather's phone, just out of habit. I was habitually swiping up fast, and so I closed it quick. But I realized I closed an app that had caught my eye in particular. The app was Kik. Kik Messenger.
Oh, okay. Alright, Kik back in the day. I had it when I was in middle school. I don't know why. For everyone else that's still using that app, yeah, it's just like Telegram and Discord, basically. A lot of sharing of the cheese pizza, I guess.
If you know anything about Kik Messenger or its history, then I'm sure you'll know why this piqued my interest pretty quickly. See, even being 13 at the time, I knew way more than I should have about the internet. So I knew about Kik. Kik for a long time had been, and still unfortunately is to this day, a clusterfuck of an app, known for being the go-to messaging service for child predators. I didn't assume anything at this time, and less alarm bells rang in my head than probably should have, but it was enough to pique my interest, at least a little bit. I mean, come on, maybe Grandpa was in some church group chats. About 1 a.m., everyone had fallen asleep for a little while. My grandpa had foolishly left his phone out on the table. He also foolishly didn't have a password on it. I managed to sneakily grab his phone and then lock myself in the bathroom to begin checking it out.
I remember seeing his profile first. It was a picture of him in a tie-dye shirt. He went under the name Horny Artist. Needless to say, there were no church group chats, and honestly, there was no real good explanation for why he had Kik. Unless you count having terabytes of CP as a good explanation. I wouldn't. I don't think I need to go into detail.
Okay, alright, bro. I think you get the whole point of this video, bro. You can go ahead and watch the rest of his video for the outcome, but those are like only like a couple examples of just pastors being the worst of the worst types of people ever, and they're supposed to represent the church and God. And back in the day, it was what, like the Catholic Church, you know what I mean? Like the priests, they would be doing some no-no stuff to children, right? And that was always like a stereotype, but bro, I mean, stereotypes come from a little bit of truth, right? What is the correlation between the Catholic and Christians, you know what I mean? And like just being some of the most evil people on the planet when you're supposed to be, you know what I mean? I guess good or holy or something like that. I don't know the connection behind it. Can someone like scientifically break this down for me or something? I don't know. This is probably going to be like a shorter video, but it's just this pattern that I've been noticing as like a grown adult, you know what I mean? I didn't notice it when I was a kid. I never really, you know, for me personally, I was never truly in the church like that, you know what I mean? I guess my parents did the good thing of keeping me away from that type of stuff, but I used to go to like a summer camp when I was like 15, I believe. I was 15 years old like at the time. Apparently there was like this counselor that was taking pictures of kids that, bro, I went to that same YMCA summer camp, bro. I guess where that summer camp was located? Inside of a fucking church, okay? I don't know the correlation between Christianity and God and the Bible and just being a despicable human being and being a high-ranking member of like a church or like the Catholic Church or some shit. I don't know. I don't have any answers. I just want to bring up the topic and or the questions here, okay? Go ahead and leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. That's all that I gotta say, to be honest with you. I'm out of here.